Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm finally here to do that get to know me video. So I've been talking about it for a while. Okay, maybe not so much here on YouTube, but definitely on Instagram, because I put out that question sticker on my Instagram story about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but a lot of things were delayed because of our move, obviously, and so I wasn't able to record this video sooner just because it was just gonna be like, it just wasn't gonna be what I wanted it to be, basically. So I'm finally here now in the new place. Actually started to settle in really well. As you can see, my room was already, you know, sort of on the way there, almost ready, and so I'm really pleased about that. But anyway, today I'm gonna do part 1 of the get to know me video. So I'm gonna split up this video into 2 sections just because, one, I feel like if I answer all of the questions in one video, it's going to be a bit too long. And secondly, a lot of people also wanted me to do this get to know me video in conjunction with a get ready with me video. So basically a video whereby like I'm getting ready, doing my makeup and answering questions at the same time. However, I do understand that not everybody wants to sit down and watch me do my makeup. It may not be your cup of tea, and that's why I'm deciding to split up these 2 videos. So this first part is going to be a bit more corporate, so talking a lot more on the like property side of things, still talking about university as far as one of the questions that I've seen, and then the next video is going to be a bit more personal, so even talking like relationships, growing up, childhood, all that kind of stuff. So you definitely want to stick around for both videos, but as I said, if watching somebody get ready and doing their makeup is not your cup of tea, then maybe that second part may not be for you. But I do definitely hope that you enjoy this first part. Right, so enough waffle, let's get into the first question. So I'm going to be looking at my phone from time to time, obviously, because I'll be reading the questions from there. So question number 1 was, what did you study at university? So I studied human resource management, which is HR. So yeah, a lot of people are surprised. They're like, how did you get from HR to project management, which is what I currently work in? And honestly, it was just like a thing of like, once I came out of university, I just sort of found really quickly that maybe HR is not for me. The only reason I even wanted to go into HR is because I was quite interested in the recruitment side of things. But anyway, having worked 2 jobs and getting obviously proper work experience in an office, I quickly found out that that was not my path. I wasn't really suited to me, and found something which did fit me. Next question. Was you the first of your friends and family at your age to purchase a house? In terms of friends, yes, I definitely believe so. In terms of family members, I'm gonna say yes also. I obviously got my first house when I was 26. I don't think anybody else in my family has done that at that age. Right, so question number 3. Where do you begin with the house search and location after you have a healthy deposit? So where do you begin? I always say it depends on what your budget looks like, okay? Obviously, how much of a budget you have in terms of how much of a deposit you have available to put down will greatly determine the kind of property that you can buy, whether that be the number of bedrooms that you can buy and also the location that you can buy in. If you don't have a big deposit, you can't buy in somewhere like London, for example, whereas you may be able to go out to Essex, where we are, or you can go to the Kent side, or you can just go to, you know, anywhere on the outskirts of London, basically. It all depends on how much of a deposit you have. So to really answer this question, I would say where you go next depends on the kind of property that you're looking for, the number of bedrooms, etc., whether it's a flat or a house, and basically, you know, where you want to be situated, okay? Do you want to be in the heart of London, or do you not mind being on the outskirts so that you can save more money and potentially get a bigger property, okay? These are the kind of factors that you need to be considering, and basically will really help in guiding you in terms of what to do next in your property search. After you've decided on a location and the sort of number of bedrooms you want, or whether it's a flat or a house, then you want to go on your viewings, okay? Go on as many viewings as you possibly can. This is the only way you can get a feel of what is a good property and what is not a good property, okay? It will also give you an idea of the kind of properties that you can afford. So maybe you've budgeted that, you know, you can afford a £200,000 house. Just because a house is listed for £200,000, it does not mean that you cannot get it below that, okay? It all depends on the qualities of the house and also whether it's in demand or not. So I definitely say go on loads and loads of viewings, and even when you feel like you've narrowed it down to that one house that you want, view it a good number of times to make sure that, you know, you are getting involved with a good property, okay? You do not want to buy a property that is not yours. And when I say a property that is not yours, a property that basically is just going to bring you trouble, okay? On top of that, I always advise get a property survey for whatever property you are interested in buying, okay? That is to make sure that there are no structural issues with that property. So next question. How did you find your friends were about saving and saying no to holidays due to saving? To be honest, I don't really feel like friends had much of an impact. Like, I feel like I am who I am. I've always been somebody who's a lot more frugal and very cautious about how I spend. Like, even when I was at uni, when basically friends would influence you the most, I think, Even my spending on like clothes, because when you're at uni it was just more or less clothes that we were buying, like, you know, nights out and events. I was very cautious. Like, I worked a job part-time, but I just knew that I had a budget in terms of how much I wanted to spend and how much I wanted to save. I've always been somebody that thought I want to save a lot more than I spend. And so in terms of like saying no to friends about holidays, I think whenever I've had those conversations about, okay, yeah, there's a big holiday that we're trying to plan, do you want to come? I'm just like, okay, how much is it going to cost me? And then I work out the numbers. For me, if I feel like it doesn't really make sense, or I feel like it's too extortionate in terms of where I currently am or the kind of things that I want to achieve in the short or long term, I'll say no. And I'll probably say, you know, I don't think I can go, I can't really afford this for A, B, C. But at the end of the day, like, you need to put yourself first, okay? You don't want to look back 5 years down the line and think, oh, actually, I wanted to buy a house, or I wanted to invest in this business, or I wanted to invest in this or that, but I spent all the money on holidays, okay? Nobody's going to give you that money back. Your friends aren't going to compensate you for the money that you lost or you spent on those holidays. So therefore, you need to be smart and think about the future. Look ahead. I mean, I won't lie, I wouldn't say I've ever had friends that were against me saving. Like, that's definitely not the case. But I did have to make a decision that there were certain things that I wasn't going to do with my friends just because I knew I wanted to save up for my house a lot quicker. Guys, I'm really liking these questions. I think I'm going to do more of these because honestly, like, they're really good questions. I wasn't expecting some of these, and it's going to get even juicier in part 2 of this Get to Know Me. So definitely stay tuned for that also. Okay, so the next question we have, your biggest money mistake, or a money mistake you've made that made you take personal finance quite seriously, I believe it says. It says about personal finance. Yeah, so my biggest money mistake, in all honesty, I can't say I've made a lot of money mistakes. I think there was one time I basically got scammed. Like, it's a scam. So, you know, like before when like people do these like photo shoot, like, you know, become a model type scheme things. So yeah, I got involved in one of those agencies, and they basically sold me photos and told me, yeah, it's going to be really good to build out your modeling portfolio, you know, blah, blah, blah. The pictures are going to look so good. All the agencies are going to want to come and sign you because of them, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that was one of the biggest money mistakes I made. Luckily enough, I only spent £500 on the pictures. I say only, that it really pained me, and it pained me for a long time. But yeah, the pictures were meant to be £1,000, but I negotiated it down to 500 with them anyway. But yeah, that was my biggest money mistake, and that was literally because I think I just didn't do my due diligence properly, really, and that was not a smart thing to do. If you're going to go into anything, any business, any partnership with anybody's trying to sell you something, read the terms and conditions properly and research the company. So that was my biggest money mistake, and I've definitely learned my lesson. Outside of that, I'm really not somebody to let go of money just like that. So to be honest, even that one is kind of surprising for me, because I'm just like, I really had £500 to give you. Like, you didn't confirm that I was going to get any work thereafter, but I really gave you that money. But anyway, we live and we learn. So yeah, that was my biggest money mistake. That's not necessarily something that made me take personal finance more seriously. I mean, even prior to that, I've always taken personal finance very seriously, but that was just a rookie mistake that I've learned from, and I shall never do again. And hopefully, if anybody's trying to approach any of you guys out there about stuff like this, you'll learn from my mistake. Do not give them your money. It's all a scam, okay? If you're going to be a model, if agents are going to sign you, they're going to see you and take pictures of you for free, because at the end of the day, they're going to make money from you as a model. Right, so I believe this is the final question. And so the question is, advice on how you got a mortgage on your own. Thank you. Advice on how I got a mortgage on my own. I mean, I think I've spoken quite a lot on this in previous videos, well, maybe indirectly, but in terms of like how I got a mortgage on my own, I just really had to buckle down. Like, fortunately enough, during the time when I was really saving towards that deposit, I was contracting, and so I worked through my own limited company. And when you work in that way, you're sort of the director of the company, and so you can determine, you know, how much you pay yourself in terms of salary. And also my day rate was, you know, quite nice as well. So yeah, it really helped me to save a lot. But moreover, what was really important in being able to save for that deposit and save for a house on my own is just being really disciplined, really determined, knowing that I have an end goal, and just knowing that, you know, me getting this house in 2 years' time is going to be of much more value to me than spending the money on clothes here and there, or, you know, shoes or material things, basically. In terms of the specifics on how I got a mortgage on my own, I'm guessing you want to know whether it's how I don't know, how I approach the banks, or you know, my affordability. Again, it all comes down to how much you earn and how much of a deposit that you can put together. Once you have that figure in terms of how much of a deposit you need in comparison to how much of a loan banks can give you, then that's really it. You just need to meet in the middle, okay? So keep on saving. I stress it all the time. Save, save, save. Saving is the hardest part of getting a mortgage. Stay determined, stay disciplined, and you'll be there in no time, okay? There's nothing stopping you from getting a property on your own. You do not need to partner up with anybody. All you need is discipline, and you'll be there in no time. I kind of feel like that question was a bit broad and open, and so I've answered it in terms of my interpretation of the question, but please do let me know if I haven't really covered it off properly. So guys, I believe that's it for this first part. Let me just have a quick scan through for all those serious questions anyway. Well, I say serious, but they're more like, you know, but I think, yeah, the rest are quite like funny questions. Now I've got a question someone asking me, when am I popping out those kids? So if you want to hear the answer to that, tune into the next video. Oh, your COVID experience, have I learnt anything new, any new skills? My COVID experience, so to be honest, during COVID I was on furlough. So I was furloughed in early April, I believe it was the first week of April, and so I've only just resumed work August. I resumed work in August, and it's only even part-time, so I'm working 2 days a week, and then the other 3 days I'm on furlough. So I'm currently still on furlough for 3 days. And so my experience of it, honestly, I'm grateful. That's all I can say. I'm grateful for the fact that I've been able to come back from furlough. A lot of people did lose their jobs during this time, but fortunately I was one of those that did not. So I've resumed work, you know, part-time, and I like it because it gives me the time to be able to focus on creating content. So as I said, I'm going to be pumping out more videos now, so at least 2 videos a week. That's what I'm working on, and so this situation really, you know, gives me the time to be able to do that. So to answer the question like more specifically and properly, have I learned any new skills? Not necessarily. Like, I've just been focused more on, you know, doing a lot more reading and research on property as my main area, because that's the main sort of area that I'm focused on right now. And then there was another business that I was working on. I mean, it was almost there at the finish line. I was so annoyed because at the last minute the person that I was working with on it just like failed me, basically. That's the only way that I can put it. So I was working on that, but unfortunately it's sort of on a hold now. And then what else have I been doing? Well, actually no, I learned another mini skill. So I learned how to shoot on my own. You know, it may seem like a minor thing to some people, but you know, it was quite a handy thing for me to be able to learn. So basically, when I say shoot, I mean like take my own pictures. So if you go on my Instagram, if you look at the past few months, basically from around when lockdown started, I've been taking all my pictures. So all the pictures that you see on my feed from at least April, May, they're all taken by me, just me, my iPhone XS, 10S, whatever it's called, and my tripod and remote control. So yeah, that's it. I've learned how to shoot. That's really handy. Before I was relying on another girl that I used to shoot with, and that's frustrating because like if we plan to shoot and let's say maybe it starts raining, then the shoot has to be cancelled, and before you can arrange another shoot, like, you know, you have to look at both of you guys' availability, and it may not work out for a number of weeks, and then you're left without content. And so yeah, it's not the best position to be in. So learning how to shoot during lockdown has been very helpful to me. And so yeah, I'm grateful for the time. Honestly, I'm grateful for the time that I've been able to have to myself, spend more time on myself, invest more in myself. And those are the things that I've picked up during COVID. So that has been my COVID experience, and those are the skills that I've learned. Yeah, so that's the end of this video. Basically, I've answered all the questions for part 1. As I said, if you're interested in hearing the answers to some of the more juicier questions, then definitely tune in for part 2 of this get to know me video. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do also remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and also do not forget to turn on your bell notifications so that you're notified as soon as I post, which is going to be twice a week now. So as usual, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.